I would hate to have somebody angry at Paul because I misquoted. All this is from God, who reconciled himself through Christ and has given us the ministry of reconciliation. That is, in Christ, God was reconciling the world to God, not counting their trespasses against them, and entrusting the message of reconciliation to us. From the way that things usually go, God has made two horrible mistakes. First, God is not counting their trespasses against them. Have you ever had anybody who owed you something? Have you ever had anybody who owed a trespass to you? If you've got one of those, you never let it go. You count it because that's your power. That's the way that you have an advantage over somebody else. And it says in this that God was not counting any of that against them. And the second mistake, that God entrusted the ministry of reconciliation to us. Now that's a scary thought, not just outrageous. It's scary. This wonderful message of trespasses not being held against them is entrusted to us. And we're the people often who are trying to think about this. We're the people who are the ones who are trying to make sure that all the best folks get here. We're not looking for people who've got lots of trespasses against them. We're looking for the people who have fewer trespasses. Actually, we're probably interested in having a few that have some notorious trespasses, so that if the heat gets on us, we can always point to somebody else who has more trespasses than we do. So that's the message that's there. And that's the message that the Son experienced. He experienced it when he realized he was lost. He came back and he was greeted by his Father, who wasn't counting any of it against him. And his Father immediately made him an ambassador for that same reconciliation. How do they do it? By a celebration. By killing the fatted calf and inviting everybody to dine with him. But not everyone gets to do that. The elder brother is out in the field and he's stuck in the mindset of counting trespasses. He's adding it up and he's wondering when he's going to be able to get even with his brother. And now his brother is home and his father has called everything off and there's no getting even anymore, and he's angry. There are two lost sons in the story today, and one of them was found. And there's one who, at least at the end of the story, remained lost. I'm always hopeful. I have a sense that eventually he'll get over it and he'll realize that God's love for him and his brother's love for him are greater than his desire to count trespasses against them. But here's the message for us. God has invited us not to count trespasses against people. God has invited us not to try to fill our church with people who are all among the finest and the most upstanding, and of course the ones with the deepest pockets. God has invited us to fill the church with those who need to hear this message of reconciliation, because we've been made the chief ambassadors of that message.